just going to take a moment to take a nice deep breath. I always like to start our circles with just a few deep breaths to ground in, especially when we have a full moon, when the energy is really heightened. We might feel that extra prana. We might feel a little anxious. Our energy might be all over the place right now. We might be kind of in that holiday hangover or still have a lot to do or a lot going on with the holidays. So just for now, just in these few moments together, maybe the next hour or so, let's really ground in and be present with one another, be present with ourselves, be present with whatever comes through. With that, wherever you are, find your posture, find a nice hollow channel for your breath to move in and out of your body. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just let go at the bottom of that breath. Maybe loosen up the body, shake it out, really feel a deeper connection to the ground or the earth beneath you, to gravity. And this time, let's do it through the nose. Inhale, out through the mouth, maybe with some sound. Just vibrating the vocal cords. They're a little challenged right now with Mercury retrograde. And also when we bring in sound, it vibrates our vagus nerve. It actually helps us to relax our nerves and turn on that parasympathetic nervous system response. So we're going to take one more breath. Of course, grab some noise with that exhale if you'd like. I'm going to reach my arms overhead on the inhale. Feel free to join me. Deep breath in. And exhale, just let everything release and drop. And really get here, ground in, be present in our circle. And I am going to just dive right in tonight. We have a few different things to cover. First off, we are going to cover the elements that we can work with underneath this full moon in Cancer. I'm also going to talk about the Cancer energy and what that means with this full moon, how that affects our energy, how that affects our how it affects us and how that affects society right now. I'm also going to go over to the eastern side of the world and talk about the Vedic astrology of this moon and cover the tarot reading that I pulled today for our full moon portal. So we have a bit to cover tonight, but I am going to start with the 5 elements. And I always do this with our circles. I like to bring in the 5 elements. Oh, you know what? Pause and slow down. Mercury is in retrograde. I have not even introduced myself. If this is your first time joining, because it could be, I just see some new names and people popping up right now, and this may be your first time. So I just want to say namaskar and welcome to the circle. My name is Vina Lene Rachel. I am a moon priestess, an intuitive, a channeler of the divine. I've been hosting these full and new moon circles for quite some time now, a little over 5 to 6 years, when I can, as best as I can. And of course, we always put up the replays for those that can't join us live. So I tend to cover Vedic and Western astrology in our moon circles, also a tarot reading, and then just anything else that needs to come through. Tonight we will be covering a intuitive magic practice in addition to all of the other things that I mentioned. So welcome if this is your first time. Welcome no matter what time this is for you tuning in. And I invite you to just get cozy, get comfortable, maybe have something to write with, to take notes, maybe have something to drink, something to wet your whistle. We are going to be here for about an hour or so together. I am going to keep it under an hour best I can. I know your time is valuable right now during the holidays. And with that, I am considering really making sure that things are timely. I'm sorry. I'm just looking over at my door and my child has stuffed something under the door. I'm not quite, I think it's like a Mr. Potato Head piece. He did it very ninja-like and I didn't even see it. So it's just his little way of telling me that he loves me. Okay, so now that I've introduced myself, in case you're new, let's move on to the elements. Now, I always bring in our 5 elements to our moon circles because this enhances the energy. This also gives you maybe some suggestions of tools to work with right now during this portal. Now, if you have these tools, great, but if you don't have these tools, great. You're tuning into this transmission, and through the ether, the space and time don't really matter. And so all of the energy of these elements that I introduced tonight will be brought to you as well, no matter when you are tuning in. I always like to start with earth element, suggesting some crystals or gemstones to work with. Tonight, I would like you to maybe work with rainbow moonstone, always a great generic gemstone to work with underneath the full moon. But it's this black and white stone, just like the moon. We have kind of this black and white energy or dark and light energy. And rainbow moonstone is a stone associated with Cancer energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So if you are a water sign, you're really going to feel this full moon. If you are a Cancer, or if you're ruled by Cancer energy and your sun, moon, rising, if you have a stellium, any sort of really Cancer dominant energy in your chart, you are really going to feel this moon. And so if you are really kind of feeling the watery emotions or the prana of this moon, you might want to use rainbow moonstone just to align with the energy a little bit more. And when we learn to align with the frequencies at hand, we feel more in balance. We feel more in tune. Now, rainbow moonstone's pretty unique. This is a bigger piece here where you can see the one side doesn't have a lot of contrast, but the other side is really speckled and different. This is a smaller rainbow moonstone that I have that you can't even see really any black on. But if you had just the right light, I don't know if I can catch it, it gives off this rainbow type sheen, and it's like a reflective rainbowy sheen, and that's how you know that it's rainbow moonstone. Now, another white crystal I would suggest working with, I'm actually wearing around my neck, and I can't take it off because it's pretty close to my neck here, but this is howlite, so I'll get pretty close to you here, and you can see this black and white, or kind of white and gray stone. Actually, that's a really good piece right there. It's kind of got some black in it. So howlite is also great for grounding you in when you have really anxious energy. As I mentioned, this full moon might have heightened prana with it right now, and you might be feeling that. So this can help to ground you. This also helps you to release stuck emotion. I always call it, howlite helps you like howl it all out or let it all out. And Cancer energy, it has a way of causing us to suppress our emotions or kind of shell things up and hold things back. But that pressure tends to build up at the end of the year with the holidays, and you might feel like you need to go yell or cry or scream or whatever it is. So if you need some help unlocking some emotions, or if you just need help with your anxious energy, you might want to introduce some howlite into your life right now. Now, finally, I am suggesting that you maybe work with Golden Healer Quartz. Right now, you can see this really beautiful golden color here in this Golden Healer. This one isn't as transparent. Sometimes Golden Healer almost looks like a citrine. It kind of has a transparency to it, but this one in particular does not. It's a little bit bigger. Golden Healer Quartz works with your throat chakra. It helps you with overall wellness, and multiple reasons that we should be working with this energy right now. Number one, we're coming off the holidays. I already mentioned all of that, like pressure, stress that we may have taken on. We might also be overwhelmed from all of the indulgences that we took in. I know that I definitely indulged yesterday. Even my face is kind of broken out right now because I had way too much sugar, way too much dairy, way too much salt. I totally splurged. It's the holidays. We're supposed to enjoy that time of year. But if you need a little bit of detox on the other side of that, or you need more wellness and balance, then you might want to use Golden Healer Quartz. You can even meditate with this right on your throat chakra. Maybe lay down on your back and have that right on your throat, or underneath your pillow at night. You could sleep with some Golden Healer underneath. It's also a good time to support your throat chakra in general because Mercury is in retrograde and Mercury affects the throat. Now also we are moving into winter. This is the coldest time of year, the darkest time of year. We don't get as much sunlight and that affects our vitamin D levels. We just don't eat as well. Things aren't as fresh and nutritious. So you might also want to use Golden Healer just for overall wellness right now, especially if you feel things coming on. All of the social interaction also causes us to be exposed to a lot of things. So just coming down off the holiday high, you probably are stressed in your immune system and you want to make sure to take care of that. So this is a stone that I suggest you work with as well. Now, another way to purify your space without using crystal energy is through the power of smudging, and this is another earth element. Now, usually I use the smudging stick. We light that on fire and use the smoke to cleanse. I'm going to do things a little differently tonight. I have this beautiful waterfall. You can see it's like a big ocean wave representing this watery Cancer moon. This is a cone diffuser, so it's one of those waterfall smoke diffusers. And hopefully it'll work out tonight. I'm going to get that placed just right. And I'm going to get this set up so that you can see this trickle down as we continue our transmission, because it's really beautiful and can be really meditative as well. So I want to set that up kind of right in front of me, but not too close, because I don't know if you've used waterfall diffusers, but they can be pretty intense. Okay, we've got our crystals. We'll just set those up around there. Why not? And I'm going to combine this earth element, this incense cone. This is a full moon mix, by the way. I don't know if it tells me everything that's in there. It does not. Sorry. I can't tell you the mix, but it's for full moon energy. We're going to combine that with our second element of fire. And all we do is just set this cone on fire, in case you've never used one of these before. And there it is. It's lit up. And that's going to start to burn. There goes the smoke. Now, right now, the smoke is going to go through the top, but eventually it's going to start pulling through the bottom and moving through the bottom. So I'll let you know when it starts to move through. I might have to burn it just a little bit more. I keep my spaces very clean and purified, so sometimes it's hard to bring in smudging elements for our circles because those spaces are already pure. Okay, I think it's burning now. So it'll start to pull down now, and I'll let you know when that happens. So when that smoke starts to form, that's actually our third element. That's the element of wind or smoke. As I said, they always kind of smoke out in the beginning. We'll see if we can get it to pull down. If we can't, it's okay. I'm never sure about these things. Actually, this one might not. I wonder. Let's get experimental. Let's see if it'll pull down. Let's see what happens. I think the cone itself is not, it doesn't have the right hole at the bottom of it. These aren't quite for that, but if this stays on fire and pulls down through there, we'll see what happens. Mercury's in retrograde, can you tell? The power of wind and smoke doesn't want to work. Well, nevertheless, we'll see what happens. And until then, we'll just flip it over and use the smoke if it doesn't pull through. Anyway, fourth element, right, is water. And I always suggest a few essential oils to work with, and I'm no different tonight. The first one I would suggest, possibly if you have it, is myrrh. Myrrh is one of our Christmas oils. It's one of the oils associated with the Christmas story of Jesus, Yeshua, birth of Yeshua. And myrrh is the oil of the mother, is the oil of Mother Earth. Now, what would we use this for? We would use this when we feel a sense of loneliness around our relationship with our mother. We would also use this for deep grounding. Now, myrrh is also a powerful blood thinner, and you don't need very much of it. It's very potent. You need like a drop. So if you are postpartum or prenatal, or if you have any sort of surgery coming up, or if you're supposed to avoid blood thinners, you probably don't want to work with myrrh. You might want to work instead with copaiba. Now, copaiba is safe no matter where you're at in this journey of life. And copaiba comes from the rainforest. Copaiba also works with your CB2 receptor, meaning that it helps you with your nervous system responses and helps with the harmonious frequency. What am I trying to say? Sorry. It helps with the harmony of your systems. So it helps everything work together a little bit better. Also, copaiba can help to soothe any anxious feelings or any anxious energy. Again, this full moon in Cancer, last full moon of the year, it can also be a very emotional moon, being a water moon. So if you're feeling like you need to kind of mellow out, ground in, you might want to use copaiba to do that. Now, just because it combines with the CB2 receptor like CBD does not mean it is CBD. There is no psychoactive effect. Neither does CBD have psychoactive effect, but a lot of people worry about those things. When you use copaiba, you are not going to fail a drug test, okay? So just to let you know, just keeping it real. It is Capricorn season by nature, and Capricorn keeps it real. I don't think this is going to burn and move down, but we're still going to let the incense move out and through wherever that smoke wants to go. Typically, the cones have a little hole in the bottom of them, and that pulls the smoke through. These are just incense cones in general, and it's just not going to work, but that's okay. By the way, I do have a window open, so the smoke has somewhere to go. And it looks like right now it just wants to kind of move up and out. So it's not really going to you, it's not really going to me, but I'm trusting that it's going wherever it needs to go tonight. And that's one thing you want to do when you use things like incense. It's a little bit different. I mean, I could definitely take this thing all around you and me and our tech to cleanse, but it's going to distribute and purify the air just fine. So it's pretty much just going up and out. So good job on keeping your energy clean as well, because it's not really going to you. Okay, let's move on. One more essential oil for you to use tonight, vanilla. I think I suggested this last time, but it is a great substitute if you don't have myrrh, if you don't have copaiba. Those are a little bit harder to get your hands on and a little bit pricier types of oils. But vanilla is something that we can get our hands on pretty easily. If you didn't actually have vanilla oil, you could just do vanilla extract in a little bit of water, boil that in a pan to make everything smell good. You could go get some vanilla bean pods, scrape those into the water and boil that. Lots of different ways to access vanilla, but it uplifts our mood. It just kind of makes your home feel like home. It makes your spaces feel cozy, and it makes you feel nurtured just like myrrh. It calms your mood just like copaiba. So that's another great one to work with. And of course, you can always just work with water underneath this moon. I'm going to be setting out a vessel tonight of moon water to charge. This is a good time to make up a moon water if you're curious, and be drinking that over the next few days. You could also charge up moon water tomorrow and the next day. Really take advantage of this full moon portal and every little bit of it that it has here. Whenever we use moon water, it's extra potent. It can help to detox us and purify and cleanse us. It helps to flush our energy. It also helps to cleanse your spaces. So you could spray your plants with the moon water, water your plants with it. You could cook with it. You could clean with it. You could do ritual with it as well. You could also create a salt water solution, and that could be used for practical magic as well. Heard my kids say mom, but dad's supposed to be in charge, so we'll see what happens. So Cancer energy, by the way, Cancer is the sign of the mother, the womb, and the child. It is mother energy, so I'm not surprised that my mother energy is kicking in right now. Okay, just saying hi to everybody that's here. So we've talked about our water element in the form of salt water. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. We've talked about using oils or just drinking more water right now. Fifth element, it's the ether. I already mentioned it. It's the space that we're using to connect to right now. The great thing about the ether is it gives us an opportunity, like I said, to move beyond space and time. So you're absorbing all of the energy of these elements that I brought in tonight, this cleansing smoke of this incense cone, the energy of the crystals that I brought in, the oils that I brought in, and you'll take in even more as time goes on. Also, great thing about using the ether to connect for these moon circles is as we have more and more people tune into the replay, the magic of the circle is enhanced. And you might see if you tune into this circle later on down the road and watch the replay, the energy will feel different and more powerful than it did the first time that you tuned in. So, magical space to be working in, one of my favorite spaces to be working in. In fact, I'm going a little deeper working with the moons in the ether. If that's something you're interested in, stick around for the end of the transmission. I'll talk about that then. Okay, as this incense smoke continues to burn out, I think that we will move on to a short little prayer inviting in the guides and guardians of the 5 directions, enhancing the energy of our circle and these elements even more. You can always close your eyes, tune in with me, or just simply enjoy this prayer as is. Taking a deep breath in, I start by inviting in the guides and guardians of the East with their element of air. Fresh breaths and new beginnings are upon us as we're preparing to enter into a new year. We are excited about the changes to come, and we also give ourselves the opportunity to step into a new version of ourselves every day. Although the new year is not here yet, the new moon is not here yet, every day is a new beginning and a new opportunity. So we take this first day after Christmas, and we'll take this first day after Christmas, and continuing on to continue to reinvent ourselves and improve ourselves day by day. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the South with their element of fire, burning strongly now with the lightning bolt that is present with Rudra and Ardra Nakshatra. We also find fire with every full moon as the moon is illuminated with the solar energy and reflects back upon us. We use this fire to burn away what no longer serves and also drive us to continue to move towards our goals, intentions, ambitions, and dreams. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water, this watery Cancer moon showing up to help us deal with our emotions, to purify our spaces, to cleanse and prepare for what's ahead. We know that water is also representative of time, and this is the last full moon of the year. With that, we allow ourselves to fully release and detach from what no longer serves. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with their element of earth. All of the earthly elements we've already introduced into our circle, the crystals, the incense, the certain amount of chemistry that has to happen on this planet for fire to be present, and also the wind, the air, and everything else. We invite in our ancestors, those that have been here before us, and those that are preparing to be here in the future. We are grateful for their presence, and we look forward to the messages they have to offer us tonight. We finally invite in the guides and guardians of the 5th element and the ether, the spirit realm, the Akash, everything that is beyond our earthly realm and earthly planet, the angels, the archangels, the deities, the cosmic races, the source consciousness, and source energy, and all that's connected from it. We thank you for your presence, your guidance, and everything that you have to offer in our circle tonight. With that, our circle is officially open, continues to cleanse as our incense burns. I wonder what will happen. Oh, it's such a delicate thing when incense is burning. I just wonder if I can flip it and let it burn down into the space now. I don't know if it'll go down into there or not, but either way, we have purified our space. These Incense cones are pretty intense. You might have seen me itching my eye there because it's just smoke. Smoke. It is going to the window, though. I do have the window cracked. I just didn't want it to be too loud. Okay. Welcome to everyone that showed up in between here and then. I'm going to itch my eye. I'm going to take a drink of water, and we're going to talk about this Cancer moon. So one thing about full moons is they're always a time of release. And Cancer energy doesn't like to let go very much. It's the sign of the crab, and the crab is hard-shelled, right? The crab also likes to retreat instead of moving forward. They have to have a lot of support. Usually crabs move around and migrate and transfer themselves in numbers for protection. They don't really like to experience things solo. So it is a social energy, and of course this is occurring right during Christmas, so you might have found yourself really socializing around this full moon portal. But it's also an energy that tends to kind of put on a face, put on a place, put on an image in order to prevent the real mush from being seen or coming out from the inside. So if you've, maybe had to put on a facade around the holidays, maybe you've had to filter or mute yourself a little bit. Maybe you haven't been able to present yourself in your fullest expression. Remember, Mercury is retrograde right now as well, so we struggle to communicate and express right now. Even myself, I'm showing up today in what I think is one of my beautiful Sarwar kameezes from India. I actually purchased this one in India. I love the colors. It's got these Christmas colors, red and green. It almost reminds me kind of the Christmas poinsettia, even though it's not. It's just those beautiful red flowers. It's gold as well. Just those Christmas colors. And I wanted to wear this yesterday for Christmas, and my husband was like, yeah, don't do that. And that's okay. I'm wearing it here for our special occasion, for our virtual moon circle. And I wore my just nice green tie-dyed sweatshirt and comfy pants to Christmas yesterday. But I digress. Smoke's not going to go through. That's okay. I'm going to set this aside just to get it out of the way, and you can see the rest of me here. But my point being that this is a time when you might have had to maybe, not display your fullest self because of the holidays, family, social stuff, social rules, expectations, all those things. And that can be really frustrating for us. It can create a lot of pressure, and you might be feeling that on the other side. You might have not also been able to fully express yourself or express how you feel or show the emotions that you truly wanted to feel. So if you are feeling any of that or experience any of that with this other side of the Christmas portal, this full moon in Cancer is giving you permission to move that through, to process that, to let that go, to not hold on to that, to not hold a grudge or get angry or be frustrated or whatever it is, to just simply let it go and move on. Full moons are a time of release. They are a halfway point through the lunar cycle for us to check in and make sure that we are still in harmony, we are still at peace, we are still in proper frequency. And if we are not, we have to do what we need to do to get back there. So process your feelings right now, feel your feels, and find ways to move it through. Now, it might not be easy to simply scream or cry or, go hit something or break something or jump for joy or shake it out or whatever it is, however you need to express. It might not be as easy to do it in those ways, but there are other ways that you can do it. Number one, you can just get super creative. This is a full watery moon. You might feel creative right now. You might want to just simply invite in kind of your inner child or that childlike imagination, those childlike energies to get creative and artistic and playful. Me and my son made some Christmas ornaments, some homemade Christmas ornaments this year, and decorated Christmas cookies and, did some things like that to bring in our creative nature. He's a Cancer moon, by the way, so is my husband, and I knew that they needed to do creative things. Also, embracing your inner child and just being playful and being childlike can also help you move any stuck emotions through. So, maybe if you have children and they have toys for Christmas, maybe you get those toys out and play with them, or, as you're putting them together, get excited about it like you were when you were a kid and your parents were putting things together. Of course, if you don't have children, then, just embrace your own childlike sensation. Do you have maybe something that you want that's a little juvenile or childlike, or might be judged for an adult to have? Go treat yourself and get it for yourself. Go play. Go watch a cartoon movie or an animated movie or cartoon from your childhood. There's a lot of different ways that we can bring in more joy and happiness and kind of move any stuck or negative energies through. You can also clean your house, because you might want to do that after the holidays, especially if you had company or if you had a lot going on. You don't have to necessarily put away the Christmas tree, but maybe this is a time that you freshen up your spaces, that you get your house back in order. If things are a little chaotic, you might want to just make sure that you're catching up on things because you let things go after the past few days of holiday celebrations. So maybe you have laundry, maybe you have dishes, maybe you have to vacuum the floors, or, do the usual things. This is a good time to do it, because when we clean, we actually move energy through. And there's something about taking a mess and getting it clean and purified, or putting things that are chaotic back into their spaces and organizing them, that also makes us feel more organized, makes us feel more purified and clean. And this is Capricorn season, and both Capricorn energy and Cancer energy just absolutely love to clean, especially when they are feeling emotional. So if you are feeling that energy, permission to clean your home, take advantage of it. Get your spaces ready for the new year. This is also a time to create sanctuary. So take care of your spaces, whether that's your home, your car, your work, wherever you have space that you spend a lot of time in, and also wherever you have safe spaces, especially. Perhaps you have a meditation space, or you have a quiet corner, or, you have some sort of place that you go whenever you need to just kind of zen out or detach from the world, or spend time alone with yourself to process. All of those spaces need to maybe get some attention right now with this full moon. So use the extra energy of the moon to clean, to tidy up, to get organized, and take care of anything that is dirty, just so that you feel a little bit more organized and purified in general. And remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you clean one thing, you'll want to clean other things, including your life and your lifestyle and your habits, which are all things that we tend to focus on in the new year. Now, speaking of lifestyle, habits, New Year's resolutions, all of those things, they're coming to light right now. You are probably starting to think about the things that you want to change in the new year, or habits that you want to shift, and that's great. These are things that you probably want to start thinking about. Maybe making a plan for, writing down, really daydreaming on, or doing a yoga nidra on, really thinking about the details. Excuse me. Maybe not necessarily act on the resolutions, but it is a good time to start thinking about them. This is Cancer energy, which is related to the home, but also our first and only home, our body, right? So if you're not feeling at home in your body, if you're not feeling at balance in your body, if you're not feeling well, this is a time to start thinking about what you need to do to get back into that feeling of health and wellness again. Remember, Mercury is retrograde. This affects our throat chakra, our thymus, and our wellness. It affects our hormonal imbalances as well. And it's a time when we might not be able to achieve optimal health. However, Mercury goes direct auspiciously on January 1st, the evening of January 1st. And with that, we are going to get a shift in our energy to actually move forward and start enhancing our wellness a little bit more, focusing on that, and doing what we need to make ourselves healthier overall. Okay, what else to say about Cancer energy? Well, it has a little bit of a trigger point. Remember that the Cancer crabs retreat a lot of times when they feel threatened, but they can pinch back if they are provoked. And you might be experiencing the same energy right now. If you are feeling provoked, if you are feeling triggered, it is not the time to lash back out. Although you want to, right? You want to pinch, you want to hurt back when you're hurt, you want to get, that frustration out, all of this built up pressure that you may be experiencing right now, but it's not the way to do it. Mercury right now on this 26th and 27th of December is experiencing a Gandanta in Vedic astrology, and meaning it is at the exact midpoint between Sagittarius and Scorpio energy. Well, what does that mean? That means that the planet of expression and communication is fired up right now between the planet of the cosmic warrior and war and the planet of the cosmic weapon. Okay? So we could really use our words to cause a lot of harm right now. And because we are in retrograde, we could be using those words to cause a lot of long-term damage. So we need to be really careful right now with what we say and how we communicate, especially if we have a lot of pressure building up on the inside. So no matter whether you're looking at Mercury or you're looking at Cancer energy, just know that you could be triggered right now and you need to have maybe tools and techniques to help calm your frustrations. Now I'm going to get to a magical practice tonight with salt water, but first I want to talk a little bit more about the astrology of this moon shifting over to the eastern part of the world. I already mentioned that the Vedic astrology sees Mercury right now in a Gandanta, but it also puts this moon in Ardra Nakshatra. This is the lunar mansion of a place where we feel a kind of a lot of volatility, a lot of intensity, a lot of pressure as well, very similar to Cancer energy on the western side of the world. This is the star of storms, and it's ruled by Rudra, which is a god that throws out lightning bolts. And these lightning bolts are meant to give us kind of flashes of revelation, to get rid of ignorance and, maybe lies and misconceptions and misperceptions. And that's really circulating right now with Mercury retrograde, especially in that Gandanta. There could be stories coming up that aren't the full story or the whole truth. There could be conversations where the message wasn't fully received or put out in the right way. You can see even I'm struggling to talk today a little bit. So, there's a lot of issues, so to say, right now with this moon being in the star of storms, with Mercury being in retrograde, but with this star of storms, with Rudra coming into play, there are going to be flashes of little aha moments, flashes of truth, flashes of light. We're in Capricorn season, which is all about reality checks and getting real and knowing the truth and being honest. So we're going to start to see little things in our life over the next couple of days that help to give us our own little reality check. Maybe there's a certain person in our life that shows a little spark of behavior or acts in a certain way that helps us to see their true colors. Or maybe we have a certain situation come to light, or a certain memory gets unblocked, or we just have an epiphany about something that we didn't have before. A lot of this is going to come through right now with this full moon. So pay attention to what comes to light. It's coming to light for a reason, because you need to see it before moving on to this next year. You need to learn the lesson or see the bigger picture or kind of get that wisdom across before you move into working on yourself and this new version of yourself in the next year. Now, Rudra also represents tears of grief, and these tears are also related to the storm, because there's this story about Rudra who is a form of Lord Shiva. And he at some point loses his beloved. She self-sacrifices her life, takes her life in front of her father at a party, throws herself into a fire because she's very upset about her father not accepting her beloved, her husband. And with that, she dies. And when Rudra, or Lord Shiva, or, there's different versions of the story, but when he finds out about this, when he finds out that his beloved is gone, he grieves heavily, and he moves all across the earth, and he's just crying, and these huge tears of the god are falling, and they're flooding the planet, and before long he's flooding the earth, and things are getting a little crazy, and the gods come together, and they're like, we have to do something. So they step in, and they show him support, and they help him through his grief, so he dries up his tears. And in fact, everywhere that a teardrop fell, there is a Rudraksha tree, and you'll see me sometimes wearing Rudraksha beads, and those are representative of the deep unconditional love of Lord Shiva and Parvati, or Shiva Shakti energy, or Rudra and his beloved. So this energy coming into play right now with the full moon represents the deep emotion of grief that we need to experience right now. We need to let go of 2023. This year is done, and no matter what happened in it, we need to detach from it and let go. If you have any grievances with people, this is a time that we tend to try to let all that go, right? During the holidays, during the new year, we try to have forgiveness. We try to let go of grievances. We don't want that energy carrying over into the new year. It's an icky energy. It's a very cancerous energy. It festers. It's infectious. It spreads. We don't want that. So we want to also let go of our grievances right now. And also we want to feel our emotions. So if we need to cry, if we need to scream, if we need to howl, whatever we need to do, this full moon is telling us to do it. It is no surprise that the wolves howl at the moon, right? It is a sensation, an urge that we feel sometimes. We have deep emotion that we need to let out, and it's okay to let it out. And I'm having an epiphany right now in this very moment, because my kid screamed twice today, just full out screamed. And in that process, I got really frustrated with him, and I told him we weren't going to behave like that, and I made him go take a time out. But now I realize that he's a Cancer moon, and he's just feeling his feels, and all the stimulation that he's had over the past month, a few weeks, few days. So I should have paid attention to that. And that is the energy of the mother coming back in. So I mentioned that this is Cancer moon, right? Cancer is the sign of the mother, the womb, and the child. And the child sometimes needs to have a tantrum in order to feel their frustrations and process. So I had a Reiki session with my master a few weeks ago, and she was asking me about some things in my teenage years and just this frustration that I was feeling. And I felt like, my inner child just wanted to like stomp and throw a tantrum. And she literally had me do that, like stomp my feet and move the energy through. And I felt a lot better on the other side. So you might want to have a little tantrum right now if you're feeling frustrated. Permission to do so. Just do it in a safe space. Do it in a contained space. Sacred rage is acceptable and okay and very healthy for us. But we want to make sure that it is sacred and safe whenever we're doing it. So permission to feel your feels however you need to feel them, no matter what side of the world you're looking at this moon on. It is a little bit of an emotional one. Okay, I don't have anything else to mention about the astrology of this moon. We are coming up on about 45 minutes into our circle. As promised, I want to try to wrap up within an hour. I want to mention a quick magic practice. We're not going to do this together. This is just something that you can do on your own after the circle or whenever you want. This full moon portal is active for a few days. We didn't shift into the Cancer moon until this morning, so you have about 48 hours still to work with the energy. Excuse me. That incense smoke is intense. I'm going to open the window and air it out a little bit more. I know my microphone has a mute button to prevent you from hearing that cough, but we're letting it out. We're letting it out. I'm clearing my throat chakra. Clearly my throat chakra needed to be purified a little bit, and I know that that's the absolute truth. And so the smoke is doing its job. It's making me clear things out. Okay. So when we have these deep-seated emotions, when we have these lower frequency feelings, these frustrations, this pressure building up, one of the things that we can do is work with salt water. Salt is an attractor of energy. It is a negative that attracts positive. And I don't mean this, it's kind of funky because it's not positive energy, it's positive ions. And positive ions are actually negative. Hey, it's Mercury retrograde. It's like Alice in Wonderland. Everything is upside down. Everything is right side up. Everything is upside down. But what I mean by this is salt is an attractor of negative energy. Salt is an attractor of energy that isn't yours, and anything that you want to give up and take, salt will attract that. This is why the ocean is so healing. This is why salt water is so purifying. In fact, I will probably gargle with some hot or warm salt water after this transmission just to help purify my throat. We are in Mercury retrograde. Take care of your throat chakra by gargling salt water. It's a really easy thing to do. You can also go soak in a salt bath. Something else I will be doing tonight is getting my bath salts out that I make and I handcraft, and getting my tub really concentrated with bath salt so that I can drain out any energy that I need to release with this moon. If you don't have access to a bathtub, you could make a salt solution and soak your feet in it, just a small bowl or tub with Epsom salts. You don't have to take a full bath. If you have access to the ocean and you want to get in it, absolutely get in it, because that would be wonderful for you right now. Spend time in a salt room if you have access to a salt room. But any sort of salt is going to help you cleanse your energy. Now, making a saltwater solution, this isn't one, but this is just going to be an example. This is another way that you can do this, and this is just easy practical magic for you. So you might want to take a vessel of water. In fact, you could do your moon water that you charge up tonight, or you can just do a separate source of water. I would actually put this solution out under the moon tonight as well, and just let the moon take it. But get a vessel, fill it with water, put a little bit of salt in it. Doesn't require a lot, like a pinch of salt. It doesn't require a lot. Less is more in the salt world. So you fill that up, you get that concentrated solution, and you howl out loud. You open up your throat chakra and you let it out, and you speak everything that you need to release into that saltwater solution. You just speak at it, and the salt water is going to absorb it. So if you're feeling frustrated, you could just say, I am feeling frustrated right now. I am feeling overwhelmed right now. I am feeling stressed right now. I am feeling like I ate way too much yesterday. I'm feeling a little shameful. I'm actually not. I'm just using examples, but these are things. If you're feeling negative self-talk, if you're feeling negative thoughts, if you're feeling low frequency, speak it into the solution. Are you mad about something? I am very, very frustrated about something personally in my life right now, and I will love to talk that out with my saltwater solution, okay? But you get the idea. Talk out your frustrations, talk out your feelings, everything that you need to process and let go, everything that you don't want in you anymore, right? The negative stuff will fester. We don't want to take wounds into the new year. We're going to talk about that in a moment, okay? But get rid of that stuff so it doesn't make you sick, so it doesn't get infectious within you. Let it out, let it go, let the moon take it, let the salt take it. Take that solution. If you want to get rid of it right away, go pour it in the toilet, go pour it down the drain, go pour it outside, go pour it on some weeds, go pour it in the dirt. Get rid of it. If you want to wait, set it out under the moon without a top on, let it evaporate a little bit, let the moon take it, and whatever's left over tomorrow, go pour it down the toilet, go pour it down a drain, go pour it into the dirt, go pour it onto some leaves, go get rid of it. When you get rid of it, it's gone for good. That's the magic of the salt solution. So this is a very simple practice that you can do to release. It's not a fire ceremony. It doesn't require any safety precautions. It doesn't require any money unless you don't have any salt lying around. And guess what? Guess what else is salty? Your tears and your sweat. Go sweat, go cry, collect a few tears, collect a few sweat drops from your armpits, whatever you want to do, make it salty and speak into it and get rid of what you need to release. So yeah, Lisa, it's such a good idea. It's very, very simple to do. And speaking of, I'm just going to get a drink of my water to wet my whistle here. So I mentioned that you don't want to take these wounds over into the new year. That is because right now, as we are meeting live, Chiron is in the process of going direct. Chiron goes direct, the wounded healer, the asteroid representing our wounds, our traumas, our emotional challenges, deep-seated stuff. I'm talking childhood traumas. I'm talking mother wounds, father wounds, sibling wounds, witch wounds, womb wounds, birth wounds, traumas galore, all the really intense stuff. It is time to air it out and heal it for good. When Chiron is retrograde, all of that stuff comes up. We have been navigating shadow season for a few months now, pretty much since September. And with that, we've had things come up. We've had wounds. We've had memories. We've had a lot of childhood traumas. We've had a lot of things come up. And that's because it's time to heal them. Now, Chiron's been retrograde for a while because it takes time to heal the wounds. If you remember, about 3 lunar cycles ago, Vedic astrology was encouraging us to take our medicine and do what we needed to do to start working on healing. And then after that, the next lunar cycle was all about what? Healing our wounds for good, not really letting them carry over. And then our last lunar cycle was all about relationships and not letting those people back in that caused those wounds and caused that harm. And now here we are in this next lunar cycle, and we are being encouraged to be well, be healthy, be strong, move forward, and don't let those wounds attach to us anymore. They're always going to be there, right? Like, we're always going to have our experiences, but how they affect us is always different. We always have an opportunity to alchemize the emotion and how it affects us and impacts us. So don't let that stuff tether you down anymore. We're not moving that way. We're moving forward. We're moving up. We're glowing up. We're growing up. Jupiter goes direct on the 30th in just a few days, right before this new year. And we are moving into a different expansion of ourselves. You know, this is the age of Aquarius. It's all about moving into the fullest, most authentic version of ourselves, but also the most healed version of yourself. So invite in that healing right now. Let the wounds air out for good, and let yourself move on as a stronger, more resilient self that's not going to be impacted in the same way. Okay, so if you don't have anything else for me, any questions about the astrology of this moon, practical magic, I am going to move on to our tarot reading. We're coming up on our hour, getting close to it. And I always want to share the tarot cards that I pull, because what I write is a little bit different than what comes through with voice. And by the way, if you didn't know that, I do write about every full moon and new moon. I do tarot reading and write about that as well. I also write about each astrology season. So if you want to read about Capricorn season, if you want to read about this full moon in Cancer, if you want to read more about the tarot reading that I pulled, you can go to my website, VinaLene.com, which is soon going to change to mothermoonsister.com. I'm not sure when, but for now, VinaLene.com. And you can find all of my intuitive channelings and writings there if you want to just absorb a little bit more. Now, if you are just one of those people that wants to learn everything about all the cosmic shifts going on, every astrology season, what's coming up for the month, personal tarot readings, if you want to dive deeper, stick with me after this transmission. I'm going to take maybe 5 minutes of your time to tell you about something that I have launching on January 1st. Okay, I don't see any more questions about the moon, so I am going to take a deep breath. I want to take a moment to invite in the tarot cards and their energy. Thank them for being present in our circle tonight. We know that the cards do not lie. We trust in the messages they have to offer, and we are open to receive. Tonight I pulled a past, present, and future card. I will start with our past card. It's the Three of Swords. Now, anytime that we have swords, it is it's direction to release. It's direction to let go. And if you remember our last tarot reading with the new moon in Sagittarius, it was the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords was about learning how to let go, learning how to set boundaries, really starting to test that out and trial and error. But the Three of Swords comes into play now to say, you know what you need to do and it's time to do it. Like the training is over, the simulation is over, and it's time to finally use your sword and cut the ties. This isn't so much about setting boundaries, it is about actually cutting cords. And when we move into 3, that is relationship. So this is family ties, perhaps. It could be just really close friendships. Could be romantic relationships as well because of the pink surrounding with the heart. But I think this is going to be more like work relationships, contracts, agreements. You know, Mercury is in retrograde, and Mercury retrograde is not a time to form agreements or sign contracts, make bonds with people, but it is a time to break them. It is a time to release them. And if you notice these 3 swords, they're pointing down into this red square. So this card is telling you to cut ties with anything that doesn't root you in. Cut ties with anybody that doesn't contribute to your next level evolution, you know, to the version of yourself that is full of joy, full of happiness, full of meeting your dreams, becoming successful and victorious, you know, and also just this life of stability, security, safety, ultimate peace and harmony. If you have anyone or anything standing in the way of that, and the card is really saying that it's people, it's time to cut those ties. You don't want to bring them into 2024. Remember, Chiron is going direct tonight as well. And so whoever you allow in that is wounding you will continue to wound you in the future until you learn your lesson. So take care of it now, make it easy now, and just reinvent yourself in the new year without these people in your life anymore. For our present card, you can't make this up. I pulled the Hanged Man in reverse. This is quite literally the Mercury card, and it's the number 12. We are in a Mercury retrograde. It is the 12th month of the year, and we are hanging around and waiting for this guy to go direct again. Now, this is pretty much just a message and a reminder for us to pay attention to things, right? Like the holidays are over, but we still shouldn't be spending big. We shouldn't be making those big end of the year purchases for our tax write-offs or spending our Christmas bonuses and purchases. We need to wait until January 2nd, until Mercury goes direct, so we don't have buyer's remorse. We also need to pay attention to all of the things that we are waiting around on to happen. Perhaps they are things that we don't need to wait around on anymore, and maybe we're just being stubborn and too attached. Maybe we need to actually let go, and this Mercury retrograde is giving us that portal of time that it takes to really sever and grieve and process and kind of, you know, burn the bridge and go forward. When we have Mercury retrograde, the card, when we have the Hanged Man in reverse, this is also symbolic of you being stubborn. Is there a decision you need to make? Is there a step you need to take that you're not? Are you not moving forward? Are you not making change? Are you not making the decision? Are you not making the choice simply because you don't want to? Simply because you're being stubborn and comfortable where you are. You know, this is a Cancer full moon. The Cancer crab loves their creature comforts. Think about the hermit crab, or think about crabs in general that move from shell to shell. They have to have that just right shell. Everything has to be just perfect. They have to have their comforts. It's uncomfortable to go into the unknown, okay? But it's time to get uncomfortable, it's time to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because that's going to move you in an exciting new direction. I really laugh because my mother-in-law, she is a Cancer. She's a Cancer crab. Her birthday is 4th of July. And this year for Christmas, my husband and I kind of convinced her to do something different, to not do the traditional like ham and traditional side dishes that we typically always have at Thanksgiving too. We don't personally eat pork and ham, so we weren't even going to be able to enjoy a lot of it. So we asked her to make a different dish. And she did, and she was really nervous about it and, really uncomfortable with it, but it turned out absolutely amazing and delicious and really made our Christmas. And yeah, even my kid was like, this is the most amazing dinner ever. And he's 4 and he loved it. And so, sometimes if we just get comfortable with the uncomfortable and try something new, stop being so stubborn about doing the same thing over and over again, we might find something new and exciting and adventurous and joyful. So, stop being so stubborn and make change if you need to. This is also maybe telling you that it's okay to break tradition right now. Like, I know that we just got over the holidays and things are a little different, but it's okay to maybe do your New Year's different. It's okay to plan for a different type of holiday season next year. It's okay to do this entire year and the holidays differently than you have before. If traditions are no longer sparking your joy, if traditions are no longer helping you to feel peace and harmony and love, then it's time to change them, and that's okay. Finally, speaking of change, our feature card is the World. And this is the final card in the tarot. Again, you can't make this up. We're in the final month of the year. This is the final full moon of the year. This is the final lunar cycle of the year. And we are moving into a new opportunity for new beginnings in a new chapter. Anytime we pull the World card, this is also a little bit about whether we want to continue to write the same story, maybe just a new chapter of the same story, or are we ready to close the book completely, end that story, and move on to the next one. We are in the portal of Mercury retrograde. Anytime we experience Mercury retro, we have people from our past rising up. When we have people from our past rising up, sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's not such a great thing. We need to ask ourselves, with all of these people coming up, who we want to bring with us into our future, our new world, our next chapter, or our new book, and who we want to leave behind. It is okay to let people go right now. This is a very interesting reading because it all plays together, right? You have the Three of Swords saying, hey, it's time to make change. It's time to cut cords and ties. The Hanged Man reverse comes in and says, you've been really stubborn about those decisions, about those ties that you need to cut and those changes that you need to make. But the World pops in and says, if you will just make the change, you have a whole new revolution, a whole new exciting life ahead of you, waiting on you to step into. Okay? Now, this is also the card of karma. This World card is ruled by Saturn. So however you behave right now, whoever you continue to let in after Mercury goes direct, after Jupiter goes direct, with Chiron going direct tonight, this next lunar cycle in Capricorn, whoever you let in, those are going to be the people in your inner circle. So do you want people that are going to help to network you and uplift you and help you to reach victory and success when it comes to working on your dreams? Do you want people that provide safe space and comfort and nurturing energy for you when you need that, when you need to be held, when you need to process and speak and, bounce things off of people? Do you have people in your life that check you in a respectful and loving way? And do you want those people in your life? Think about everyone in your life right now. Go back to the new moon in Sagittarius. Remember that this whole lunar cycle is about relationships. And now this full moon in Cancer is asking you, who do you want in your family? Cancer energy is about the home. Who do you want in your family right now? And this isn't just your family, and who in your family do you want? Who in your bloodline? What behaviors and patterns and traditions in your family do you want to carry on and move forward? And what do you want to let go of? And then who else do you want to let into your close inner circle? This card, the World card, is also kind of the androgynous Aquarius energy. And the age of Aquarius, this energy we're stepping into, and each December we get more and more into the age of Aquarius, by the way, because of that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of 2020. Every December now we're moving into that energy more and more. But it's an age of authenticity. It's an age of being able to be your truest self, to express your truest self, to go after your dreams and desires, no matter how outrageous, how wacky, how crazy they are. It's the age of that sort of realness and authenticity and ambition, and also the age of being supported through it, right? To have everybody believe in you and support you and love on you and help you. And anybody that's not doing that right now doesn't serve the future, doesn't serve your future. I'm sorry, guys, I had to clear my throat again. Goodness gracious, it's all coming up. And I say guys, but I mean guys and gals in the spirit of androgyny. Everyone. So that's what I have. That's what I have for this tarot reading. Hopefully it speaks to you. I certainly know that there are ties I need to cut, even energetic. Perhaps there are, I'm just going to say this because this is something I'm going through personally. Perhaps there are people in your life that you feel obligated to mend the relationship with, or to maybe reform the bond, remend the bond. Like maybe there's a pressure there to do that. The Three of Swords is telling us that we don't have to necessarily do that with everyone. Perhaps we just need to let that go. We need to let go of that guilt or that pressure. Pressure's coming up a lot tonight, big word. We need to let go of that pressure to fix it. Sometimes we can just let it go, and that's okay too. But the Three of Swords tells us that it is all about letting go. So perhaps you're doing that. Perhaps you're being stubborn about a decision you need to make. Perhaps you've been waiting around too long to make change. It's time to do that now, or start setting your intention to, at least with this moon, getting rid of the things that are holding you back and blocking your energy. And then as you move into your future, the world says it's really exciting for you. There's new chapters, new books, new beginnings, new opportunities. But everything is karma, action and reaction. So pay attention to what you're bringing in now, what you're carrying over into the new year, and what you're allowing yourself to release underneath this full moon. I did good. We almost did an hour, 10 after. This is what I have for you tonight, loves. I feel the need to let our guides and guardians be with us. I'm not going to release them tonight. Of course, you can release them if you want. And then, of course, they're always with us. But officially, I'm keeping this circle open with our guides and guardians. I'm keeping the energy of this circle open because we're not done with this lunar cycle. It carries over into 2024. On January 11th, we will move into our next lunar portal, the new moon of Capricorn, ironically. And then on January 20th, we'll shift into Aquarius, the season of Aquarius. But, really until that January 11th time, we can let these guides and guardians be with us and help us into the new year, help us through all of these planetary shifts as everything starts to move cosmically direct, and also as we finish out this last lunar cycle. So we will thank the guides and guardians for being present tonight, for continuing to be with us as we finish out this lunar cycle. And I'll give it just maybe a few more moments. If you have any questions for me, any comments after we're done here with all of our context of our circle. And while we take these 5 minutes for questions and comments, I will take these 5 minutes as promised just to tell you about something I have launching excitingly in January. Now I am going to launch it January 1st, like at midnight or 12:01 or whatever, despite Mercury not being officially direct yet, but I have confidence that it's going to be okay because I started this project before Mercury went retrograde. Now, a few of you are already on the transmission that are members that went ahead and dove in early, but I am talking about 13 moons. 13 moons is my digital astrology membership that I have launching on January 1st. This is something that I have wanted to do for over a year now. It's kind of an all-inclusive digital home in the theme of Cancer energy. It is a home for all things astrology. You will get all of my channelings for the astrology seasons for each new moon and full moon, and it's more than what I offer now. So I'm going to give you practical magic to do with every new moon, full moon, and every, other relative high holiday or cosmic shift that we need to. I am going to explain eclipses, retrogrades with all of the planets, anything that has to do with cosmic shifts going on again, or cosmic forecast, anything that could be affecting us or impacting us. I'm going to give personal tarot readings. I'm going to be giving you information on traditional ritualistic practices, more of kind of like witchy magic practices to do. We are going to have live meetups there, including maybe some private moon circles in the future, but definitely some live rituals where we will meet up together in that space. Anything and everything. If you need to know what's up with Capricorn season in general or this particular Capricorn season, you'll be able to go into that membership and find out. Now, I say that hypothetically because I'm putting in information on Capricorn season right now for the launch in January. But if you're already a member, you will be able to see that on January 1st as well. So what is this membership? Well, it is an $11 a month membership right now. If you sign up before the end of the year, it moves to $13 a month after the first of the year. There is also an opportunity to do a yearly membership and save a little bit of money to commit all year long, all of zodiacal season, every moon. Sorry, my brain wires are getting crossed right now because I want to explain everything. I'm very excited about this project and this venture and this dream that I've been working on. But I see it providing you just a lot of information and kind of an all-inclusive go-to guide for what's going on in the cosmos and how to deal with it. So you can go in at any point. You can read about the moons. You can read about the zodiac seasons. You can read about this current month. So I will do things by the astrology calendar, the astrology months, not the calendar month. So right now it'd be like the month of Capricorn and every cosmic shift that's happening in the astrology world there, so you know about those. I will do little check-in videos, little inspirations, guided meditations. You're going to get astro yoga. So guided yoga and guided meditation practices to align with all of the cosmic things going on. I mentioned personalized tarot readings. There's a lot going on in there. And we all have a digital private community, kind of like a Facebook group, but not a Facebook group, where you can meet up and chat with one another about everything going on. So it kind of creates this private container for you to meet up with people that are like-minded and discuss the things that you're actually interested in. And you don't have to comb through a feed. You don't have to mess with algorithms. You don't have to fight subscribing and following. It just comes with your membership and makes it really easy. So to sign up for that, go to VinaLene.com, go to my website, go to store. You will see it. You will see the options to sign up. Your access begins January 1st. As mentioned, we already have members that have taken advantage of the pre-launch, and you will be able to get all of your information starting the first of the year. Yay. Did I keep that under 5 minutes? I think I did. I think I did it right at 5 minutes. It's Cliff Notes version, but I'm excited about it. So with that, I seal our circle. I close our circle. I thank you for taking time to be in our circle tonight. As mentioned, our next meeting will be on January 11th I apologize. We are going to meet on January 10th. So we will meet just before the new moon. We're going to meet on Wednesday the 10th, just due to my schedule. That's going to work out better. We'll meet at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Instagram. If you are live, that's where the live transmission is. Replays, of course, will be available on YouTube, on my website, and on my podcast, the Follow Your Path podcast. Once they are available, I will tell you, I have had the hardest time in the past few months getting my stuff up in a timely manner. It is literally a tech issue with my iMovie. It is not me being lazy. It's just me having an issue with iMovie taking forever to save the transmission and format it. I don't know what's going on. I've tried everything. Mercury is in retrograde, and I'm not going to worry about it. But replays and recordings of these moon circles will get up when they get up and they're processed. But if you want the live, meet me on January 10th to honor the new moon in Capricorn at 8 p.m. Central Time on Instagram. Until we meet again, whether it be in the 13 Moons membership on January 1st, I might be doing a little something special on the 1st and 2nd for my members there. But if we don't meet there, we will hopefully meet again on the 10th for our next virtual moon circle. It's already scheduled on Instagram. If you need the link, it's up on my website. No, it's in my newsletter. It will be on my website tonight in the next few hours. Invite a friend. Invite a friend to this transmission as well if they need to watch the replay, if they can benefit from the messages coming through. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the new people that showed up tonight. I saw a lot of new names tonight, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of people on the replay, considering we are in the holiday season and everybody is probably either decompressing from the holidays or still celebrating with their loved ones. So until we meet again, may you have a blessed rest of your year. May you have a most fruitful and exciting and adventurous and blessed 2024. And until we meet in the new moon portal, may we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all feel safe and at peace, and may we all be loved, feel loved, and love one another. And so it is, and so it mote be, and so it always will be. Namaste.